I was trying to identify a skull the other day. Yes, this is something that comes up semi-regularly in my life, when I saw an ad that caught my attention. An Amazon listing for one-piece taxidermy real bone cat skull, animal bones real for craft, skull decoration for home, specimen collectible study. And for the price of $18.99, I assumed it was a cheap resin model or maybe a plastic mold, but then why does it say real twice in the title? The pictures and the reviews look pretty real to me. Could it be as bad as I'm assuming? What are the ethics of purchasing taxidermy online? What's really going on here? Let's talk about it. I tried to let it go. I really did. But when I got home later that night, I decided to dig in deeper. The seller is called Cloeat. I'm not really sure if it's pronounced Cloeat or as an acronym like CLLOEAT. And the description of each listing reads the same. Natural real skull, high quality bone. The joint bones of these animal specimens have been professionally boiled and processed. The integrity, color, and texture of the animal bones are maintained. Huh? I mean, the red flags here are plentiful, but let's dive into the three that I noticed almost immediately. Number one, there is absolutely no mention of the source of the skull. Number two, the wording is just odd. It reeks of AI usage or a poor translation. Singling out the words joint bones is strange and makes it seem like only the hinge of the jaw is the part of the bone that's been cleaned, when we can obviously see that that's not the case. And boiling bones is not a thing that anybody who has any idea what they're talking about does. Boiling bones makes them brittle, traps grease, warps the structure, and discolors the bone, giving the exact opposite appearance of a clean bone. And number three is that price point. It's not always everyone's favorite thing to hear, but in the world of oddities and curiosities, you get exactly what you pay for, and not just in terms of quality. The cheaper something is, the more suspicious you should be. You're likely not getting a deal, you're probably contributing to a cycle of abuse and resource overexpulsion. It's not a flex that you got a greater kudu skull for $100. It's concerning. Of course, this has more nuance when we're talking about antique pieces, but if this is a brand new, just finished piece, then if it's cheap, there's a reason. The same seller also has an $11 snapping turtle skull, a $19 chihuahua skull, minks and alligators and foxes and muskrats, many of which are available for next day shipping. With 500 reviews amounting to a 4.7 star rating, it doesn't seem like there's any amount of shortage here. Where are these animals coming from? And how are they escaping basic taxidermy law? Cloeat, or CLLOEAT, has no business page outside of Amazon and no information as to where they're located or who they are. But unfortunately, they're far from the only ones. My scrolling quickly took me to unfun places, like this undisclosed species of bat encased in resin for $21, wholesale turtle shells with, quote, white skeleton teeth that will assist in creating a sacred and earthly feeling. Whatever that means. And while selling any sort of bat is grossly unethical at this point, given that 90% of bats have experienced some sort of decline in their populations, and the method of collection is literally catching them in the wild, the turtle shells are really what interest me here. The sale and possession of turtle shells has been heavily regulated and restricted in the United States for decades. 5 decades to be exact. This is partially to help prevent disease spread, but also to stop people from poaching turtles for their shells. Turtles are a part of a slow-growing population that don't reach sexual maturity until between ages 5 and 40, depending on the species, so we just need to leave them where they are and let them do their thing. Bottom line is, it's literally illegal. And the turning of a blind eye is not exclusive to Amazon. There are plenty of eBay and Etsy sellers dishing out suspicious taxidermy, but Amazon's own rules specifically prohibit the items that are being sold. In their animals and animal-related products section of their rulebook, they list crocodiles, alligators, and sharks as not being allowed, and they vaguely mention the Endangered Species Act, the Migratory Bird Act, and the Lacey Act, etc., etc. And listen, I'm not a dum-dum, okay? I know that there's thousands of items listed on Amazon a day, and I hate to give Amazon any grace, but let's just say they probably can't police everybody evenly, but this is far from a mom and pop shop. It's generally accepted that only between 1% and 3% of Amazon buyers actually leave reviews. So with those numbers in mind, we can safely assume that Cloeat has made at least 52,000 sales. This is no small-scale operation, and it's hard for me to believe that Amazon doesn't have any sort of idea what's going on here. I can see how someone who isn't familiar with this industry could assume good intentions, but let's just be honest about what's going on here. There is no way, and I mean no way, that a seemingly unlimited supply of non-meat animal remains can be obtained ethically. If you can think of a way that I'm not, I'm sure you'll let me know, but from my perspective, it's literally not possible. Obviously, I don't know exactly where Cloet is sourcing their animal skulls from. They make that very difficult to find out, but I have some pretty good guesses. Number one is animal testing facilities. This is especially likely for the rabbit and cat skulls, which are the most frequently tested on animals. When I was little, I thought that animal testing was maybe putting some lipstick on a dog, asking them how they felt, asking them how they looked, and sending them on their way. Imagine my shock when I grew up and realized this literally could not be farther from the truth. I won't go into the gruesome details of the animal testing industry. If you want to find out, you can go find it on your own. The main reasons for animal testing are human medical development, biological studies, and product safety testing, specifically for pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and pesticides. There are a lot of animal deaths, as I'm sure you can imagine, and if there is profit to be made on these animals' bodies after they are deceased, it's not far-fetched to think that the owners of these places would jump on that opportunity. Another possible source would be fur farms. That would be my best guess for the dog, mink, fox, raccoon, and maybe the rabbit again. Every year, tens of millions of animals are raised on these cramped farms that leave little thought to their safety, security, and quality of life. The conversation of animal testing is full of nuance, with many people feeling that it is a necessary evil. But the conversation about fur farms is really quick. It's not good. No one gains anything from fur farming outside of material luxury goods. The fur on an animal who has lived a full life and experienced all the illnesses that come along with old age have a coat that is prone to shedding and is pretty much useless for this purpose. So you can imagine when they're harvesting the fur. So the ethical questions can go down two separate paths here. If these Amazon sellers are receiving all these pieces and parts for free as a true byproduct of the industries of fur farming and medical testing, it could be considered ethical as they're just making use of something that would be discarded and they're contributing nothing to the industry. But the more likely option is that they are paying for these. They are buying them wholesale, therefore making the fur farming industry just even more profitable than it was before. In my research, I found a lot of people who are arguing in favor of purchasing cheap taxidermy from AliExpress and Amazon and Etsy and eBay, using the argument that ethical taxidermy doesn't mean anything because everybody has a different definition of ethical and the pursuit of it is fruitless because everybody lies, blah, 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 blah. You're wrong. The practice of ethical taxidermy focuses on the sustainable and humane treatment of animals, choosing to source animals who have passed away naturally or by accident, rather than an animal that has been killed for the purpose of taxidermy. An example of ethical taxidermy could be an animal that lived on a zoo or a farm who passed away naturally, or maybe died from an unpreventable illness or had to be euthanized for some reason. It could be a piece created with the body of a raccoon who was accidentally hit by a car. It could be a pet whose owner wanted a memorial after they were humanely euthanized. It could be a stillborn baby porcupine at a rehabilitation center. It could even be something made from the byproducts of an animal who was killed for the food industry. Yes, this animal's life was unfortunately ended intentionally, but it was for the purpose of feeding people, not for the purpose of taxidermy. The animal is going to be dead either way. The same goes for animals that are part of an abatement program. Ethical taxidermy can also be antique or vintage items that are in need of a new home. In my opinion, it's better to allow someone to enjoy those pieces than just send them to a landfill. Ethical taxidermists treat the animal with respect and create something that is dignified. Ethical taxidermy is not something created from an animal who was hunted specifically for trophy. Ethical taxidermy is not animals who were raised exclusively for their fur or bones. And as for the, no one tells the truth anyway, so just do what you want. That is an incredibly lazy take on pretty much anything. It honestly reminds me of people that buy from puppy mills and claim that they didn't know. Not knowing something like that in the year 2025 is not possible unless you ignored every single red flag along the way. The more likely truth is that you were impatient, uneducated, and maybe a wee bit selfish. Let me set the scene. Oh my gosh. These are super awesome. I'd love to get one.
Cash only.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. No, I like this one specifically. Like, do you know where it came from?
It's all ethically sourced.
Says it on the sign.
Right here.
No, I saw that. That's great. I was just wondering where this one's specific point of origin was.
Look, I already told you, lady.
Are you trying to catch me in something? You think you're gonna catch me in something? I've been doing this for 50 goddamn years. No, I just wanna make sure I'm buying something with a sustainable origin. Can't you just tell me where you got it from?
You really wanna know? I found this one in between your mama's crack.
An ethical taxidermist shouldn't get defensive. They shouldn't dodge the question because they know where everything they have comes from, and they are happy to discuss that with you if you are genuinely curious. Just don't approach the table like this. A lot of penguins you got there. What is that? 8?
I know it.
This has a 5-letter word written all over it.
Crime.
Who are you calling? The police. The sun doesn't shine where you're going. Pack it up, Mama. Pack it up. But Miranda, there is no brick and mortar taxidermy shop near me. Hear, hear. Fret not. Selling online does not automatically equal unethical. In fact, I've gathered a list of just a few taxidermists who sell online who process their own specimens, as well as some great replica makers as well, if that's more your style. One of the coolest parts of getting a replica is that you're able to purchase some of the things that maybe you will never ever be able to get ethically sourced online for the average consumer, like a polar bear or a raven or a human skull. Ooh. Did I say that the purchase of human bones is never ethical? Yes, unless the person whom that bone belongs to put in writing that their remains are meant to go to you for whatever purpose you intend them to be, and they gave it to you for free, it is not okay. I'm looking at you, Body Worlds. Dodgy online sellers cannot keep getting away with this, and I think it's time that we take a stand against casual animal cruelty and put our money where our mouth is. Ask questions and use your best judgment. If it makes you uncomfortable, don't buy it. Put pressure on Amazon to police those accounts. Purchasing oddities is far from a necessary expense. It is a luxury. You don't need it. You want it, and therefore you have plenty of time to do your own research and make an educated choice, especially if you're purchasing online, which leads me to a last little doo-wop that I wrote just for you. Take it away.
You stupid.
No.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
And I want you to make me a Krabby Patty.
Start digging in your butt, twin.
What?
If it's a bat, don't do it. If it's a turtle, don't do it. If it's a monkey, don't do it. If it's a songbird, don't do it. Tweet, check that IUC in red. If not, you're gonna owe the feds. I'm trying to help you out, you see. So listen to my decree. I love city certificate. Legality magnificent. Never written a song before. That's a lie, I wrote one in first grade. Before I knew I was a lesbian, I had a crush on a gentleman. Aww. Jake, I wrote a song for you. Please don't ask to see it. No name, no site, don't do it. Poor translation AI, don't do it. Stock never gone, don't do it. Anything on Amazon, don't do it. To all my weirdos out there, listen, I know you want to be edgy, and I respect it. But the animals come first. All right, Merpeachy out.